You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com. Go there, got questions, money, blah, blah, blah. Hi, Aaron. I hope you are well and appreciate a lot of the advice you're giving. However, my question for you is more macro in nature, kind of nebulous, since no one really knows how it will play out. Don't worry, the old captain put his economic noodle to it. I know, because I'm the world's greatest economist, simply in admitting that I don't know. My question relates to artificial intelligence. From the videos I've seen in documentaries, TED Talks, and every other video from Elon Musk, it seems there's a general consensus that AI will come eventually. Furthermore, the abilities of AI in theory and in small case studies like chess games vastly outclass humans' most conceivable ways. From some videos I've seen related to games again, AI, once told the rules and strategies of the game, excels at it in a way no human counterpart, regardless of their intelligence or skill, can even hope for. While it has been more implied than outright stated, this could apply to entire industries in the working world. Take finance, for example. It does not seem inconceivable that an AI could be programmed with all the tricks, trades, and body of regulation that surrounds it and be able to... Does not seem inconceivable. Seems possible. AI could be programmed with all the tricks, trades, and body of regulation that surrounds it and be able to outmatch even the greatest investors of all time like Warren Buffett, George Soros, and Jack Bogle. And insofar as trading is concerned, this has already happened, but instead of AI, the task has been delegated with virtual algorithms. Yeah, until the market crashes, then it farts. It just farts out, craps out. Lastly, most professional and skilled jobs could be broken down to a series of monotonous tasks, which when combined together creates a skill, which any one component of a modern computer can and does do. My question is, how do you see AI affecting the job market? A lot of concern has been put on AI in cars since Driver is the largest site listed in the United States, and there really would be no excuse slight of losing jobs to prevent drivers from being rendered obsolete. Thanks again. All right. Here's I took some notes. Everyone is worried about artificial intelligence taking their jobs, technology, obsoleting industries, and do we become a bunch of Luddites that say, well, no, we don't want the robots to do all of our work? Why? Then what would we do? And so the old captain's going to explain it. First, you have to understand, and I was about to write a book about artificial intelligence and robots replacing humans, but it turned out that it was going to take way too much time, be way too difficult, although I would love the intellectual challenge, I just didn't have the time. So I have delved a little bit into it. But of all the research and the videos and stuff I've watched, is no one in the TED Talks and this video and everything, no one ever pointed out this evolution in economics, where technology advances and obsoletes and renders things old and brings in new, has been going on since the dawn of time. Now, it was accelerated drastically, I'd say since about the 16 to 1700s, maybe 17 to 1800s, certainly the 18 and the 1900s with the Industrial Revolution and steam engine and all that, has just been exponential as we introduce computers and digital technology and stuff like that. But humans have been dealing with this rather intensely, certainly for, I'd say, about the past 200 years. Right? Technology has come in and completely revolutionized the economy. I look at my grandma, she's 90. Yeah, she's 90. God, what was that? I don't even think jet engines were around. I look at everything she says. She has seen more evolution and advancement in the economy than most humans saw from, 2 million BC up to the birth of Christ. And she's still here. She's still alive. All's good. She doesn't lose any sleep. She's perfectly all right. Actually, she's really good at poker. She'll snooker you for your money. She's really sharp. Really sharp. Anyway, neither here nor here about my grandmother. So my point is that change and technology destroying economies, but replacing it with new ones, has always happened. And we can go ahead and fight about it. We can try and fight against it. And you can worry about it. But it's just going to be wasted energy. It's going to be like getting a fat girl to lose weight. You're just going to bang your head against the wall. It ain't going to happen. All right? So let's just accept that this is a given. This is what we're going to have to deal with, and we're going to have to live in this world. Okay? The second thing is to realize that this evolution or this change, this revolution, destruction and recreation and Phoenix new thing has been generally a very, 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 very good thing for humans. Right? And I got 1850, 1950, and we'll do 2010. 1850, the vast majority of human existence was farming. Now, some of the industrial technologies were coming along. Some things were happening. But for the most part, everybody was a farmer. I don't know if you knew this. Farming sucks. Especially without gas engines. It really sucked. It was laborious. It was tedious. It was painful. Literally back-breaking work. And you were lucky if you were a tradesman or a horseshoer or a blacksmith or a whatever. Maybe you were very, very, very lucky and were an accountant or a lawyer in New York. But the vast majority of humans' existence was physical labor, working in the fields. Now let's fast forward 100 years, 1950. All right, now the economy is definitely diversified and we have an introduction of something new, industry, automobiles, telephones, electronics, combustible engines, and every other associated product that was built off of those technologies. Now, I don't think the horse and buggy probably the horse and buggy manufacturers were upset because they got wiped out by Henry Ford. And Henry Ford did not invent the car, he invented the assembly line. And you could say, oh, those poor horse and buggy people, but new jobs are created in these new industries. So now you have the United Auto Workers Union, UAW. You have electricians, you have carpenters, you have power tools. And not only did the jobs improve and the pay improve, but the production was exponentially higher. And whereas most of humanity and society had to be slaving away and toiling in the farmyards back in 1850, now, hey, maybe not so bad. Wifey Pooh doesn't have to wash the clothes in the washboard or over in the stream. She's got a washing machine. Wifey Pooh doesn't have to sweep up and you can't have carpet because now we have these things called vacuums. The husband can make thrice, quadruple, even 10 times the amount of money being an accountant or something like that, or just being a good tradesman with these brand new tools that make things a lot easier and they can produce a lot more. Houses get nicer. Everything got a lot nicer. And may I point out something in 1950? I didn't think it was 1950. Wait, let's double check. No, that's uploading. Shortly after 1950, although we could say certainly during 1950, cartoons, media. I was going to say Disney World, but I think that came after 1950. But let's say it did. The concept of entertainment and destinations and travel to national parks, now that's excessive. That didn't even exist before. You were born in some crappy Nebraskan town. You might go hop the train to the next town over. Maybe you were lucky to work in a meat slaughtering plant over in Lincoln. And then you know what? You died and your entire life was Nebraska. Yay for you. Now in 1950, we're not even 2010 right now. It's 1950, right? You can go see Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, all this new stuff. Entertainment had been opened up. Now, entertainment is key because I want to point out there was very little entertainment. Oh, sure, you had theaters and plays, Shakespearean and all that. But how big of GDP was it back then in 1850? Now, or 1950? I'd have to go consult the NIPA figures, but it's around at least 10 to 15%. Right? Dining out in restaurants, that wasn't a thing. Also, hey, watch the Flintstones. They'd occasionally go bowling. They'd occasionally take Wilma and Betty out for dinner. They'd maybe get them a shawl or a fur. Well, some other stuff happening in the economy. So, oh my God, the farmers are being put out of business because now you have tractors that can do hundreds of times the amount of labor that one farmer can do. And now the farmer's kid doesn't have to go be a farmer. The farmer's kid can go do something else. I could go to Broadway. You can play Mickey Mouse. And if you think about who wants to be Mickey Mouse, it's hot and sweaty and yeah, do you want to be a farmer? You always forget what we're replacing. I don't like it. It's kind of hard. So now let's advance to 2010. Now, industry has kind of gone down. Hasn't gone away. It's kind of gone down. We've outsourced that to countries that have a work ethic. Now we got computers and technology and programming. We got the interwebs. I don't know. And even I have lived long enough to see this change. I remember when McDonald's was a fucking treat. It was a goddamn treat. Now, who do they market to? Here's something interesting. Let's be controversial. Who does McDonald's market to? Have you watched a McDonald's commercial? It's actually insulting. They advertise to minorities because they're typically poorer and they have they have worse health habits. Right? Now, oh God, I'm kind of middle of the road. I'm not going to go full organic, gluten-free. Yeah, you're damn right. I like a McDonald's. You damn right. I like a Big Mac meal. You darn right. Back in my day it was a treat. Now, most of the Swipple white people won't even touch it. Oh, is it organic? Is it this? Is it that? Oh my God. Meanwhile, the minorities and occasionally me are like, no, that's fucking good shit. I don't care if it kills me. I don't care. Go eat your tofu brand bullshit that's fair trade. Don't give a shit. This is heaven. Anyway, now going out to dine, you have to be like at least an Applebee's. That was once every 10 years when you're there. I don't even think Applebee's existed. They used to have Ponderosa Steakhouse. I don't know if that's around anymore. But going out to dine out like in a nice restaurant, I'm not talking Michelin 7 stars, just like where you got to shut up and maybe wear a nice shirt. That was a once a year thing. Once a year. McDonald's, 5 to 6 times a year maybe. But now we don't even touch taco smell, forget that. White Castle, fuck that. No, I have to go to Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. So now we have organic this, we have computers, we have the internet, we have some industry, but we have a lot fewer tradesmen, and by gosh, do we have a lot fewer farmers. Now you got the food being basically made for free. Let's just admit that. Food is practically free, right? When you look at it relative to percentage of the family budget, food is basically free. Food is really cheap. You can go to the grocery store and get it. To the point that we're like, no, it's too inconvenient to go to the grocery store. I want it made for me. I want it freaking made for me. So every stage, oh my God, but look at the Luddite movement. It was, I think back in Britain in the 1860s or 1870s, these Luddites, these laborers would go in and destroy machines because they're going to lose their job. So we don't want to be that stupid because these machines, these evolutions, these advances in technologies have made it, in my life alone, where McDonald's was a treat and now it's slop. Now, presumably, well, no, it is. It's bad for you. But damn, does it taste good. That's filth. In my generation, that's filth. And now you got to eat organic chicken and antibiotic stuff. Commuting. Technically, we don't have to commute anymore. That's a holdover from stubborn baby boomers and brainless Gen Xers. I gotta see you work, self-driving cars, that's another great. Think about how much that's going to free you up. And think about how much you spend on entertainment. Disney World, never been to Disney World. That was where the rich kids went. Never went to Disney World. Now, pretty much every kid has to go to Disney World. I made it to Six Flags Great America because of south of Milwaukee down Chicago. But look at how much more fun, entertainment, and ease we have. So now the next question is, oh my God, AI is different because it's a brain. It can think and do all these things that humans normally do. And you are right, just like the past thousands of years before, new technologies are going to obsolete some jobs. And humans are going to have a choice. Sit there with the thumb up their ass and cry themselves, oh, I lost my job. Or you retool up and you take a new job in the new economy. Now, what's interesting, though, about artificial intelligence, as, take, for example, accounting. I do believe accounting, unless you're a CPA, is inevitably like the basic taxes and things like that. That's going to be automated away. Kiosks are going to replace the order takeout person at the McDonald's, no matter how much you like McDonald's. So some of these jobs certainly are going to go away, and some of them that are pretty skilled. If a computer can do it better, a robot would take away all the United Auto Worker Union's jobs, do it more accurately and precisely. They never tire, they don't complain, they don't go on strike, they don't need health care. Absolutely. Millions. Guarantee you all jobs over enough time will be eliminated. But in our lifetimes, what I see happening if artificial intelligence comes online and sticks and is good, improves, not to crash self-driving trucks into school bus children, I see 3 areas, which are the same 3 areas that have always received the different changes between these 3 areas of jobs as technology advances. And I call it the artists, the servants, and the engineers. Okay? The artists are very recent. And that's especially with the advent of the internet. Technically, I'm an artist. I'm an author. Could I have been an author 10 years ago? Probably not. The internet didn't allow self-publishing, wasn't advanced as back then. The internet was there, but it does not. If you're a musician, were you, let's say you're one of the greatest musicians in the world, did that guarantee Capitol Records was going to give you a deal, or were you going to have to suck some fucking Weinstein dick to go get a fucking record or get an album? Now, especially with the internet, especially if your media can be digitized, you could sell it to the world. And that's not only the way that you create your media and can be transferred digitally, music, art, whatever else. It's also how you can sell it. I don't need my buddy Kant, greatest artist ever. I remember him in the 90s going to art museums and art places that I'd like to show, and you get these snooty, hope they fucking died a horrible cancerous death, elitist trust fund baby boomers. Just they went. That's exactly what they said. And here's this great talented artist, greatest artist I've ever known, and it's a tragedy he can't get his stuff out there now. Of course, I've tried to explain to him this internet thing, but he just doesn't listen. But the larger point is, if the internet was just 10 years earlier, he could have sold that stuff online. You could do that online now. So there's this boom in artistry, considering art to be written, physical, audio, visual works. YouTube channels, you could even say that's art of a certain extent, although we say entertainment. So there's the artist group, right? There's the servants. The servants are people who do not have the artistic skill and ability to be artists, but are too lazy to work hard enough to learn a skill to become an engineer. I don't mean a mechanical civil engineer. I'm going to get to the engineer group later. These are people that didn't want to work hard. These are people who didn't want to learn math. These are people who didn't want to go and work in the infrastructure and the backbone of this future artificial intelligence economy. Nor do they have the natural skill or put forth the effort to develop a skill, to become a musician, to write a book, to et cetera, et cetera. All right? And this is the group of people that everyone's worried about, because they themselves are probably of this group. We're like, well, I just want my easy job. I want to be paid $75,000 a year to do it. It's like, no, it's not what's going to happen. You're going to be the servant class. And this is growing like it has grown before, because when I mean servants, I don't mean butler or slave, but I mean, you're serving other people. You're a waiter, you're a waitress, you're a barista. All you people with your masters in liberal arts, you know this way too well. You're not working in your field, you are serving other people their coffee. Now, there's nothing wrong with this, because in theory, not in theory, I can almost guarantee it, artificial intelligence, when you have robots producing everything, the cost of goods and services come way down. And so when you're a servant, even if you're making your $10,000 or $20,000 a year, even though wages are stagnant, you could afford a lot more. We already saw this happen in our past, circa 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. It was called Walmart. Completely new revolutionary idea. Lowered the cost of goods and services, boosted everybody's purchasing power up, assuming you weren't too arrogant to shop there. Oh, I don't shop at Walmart. The people of Walmart, oh my gosh, I need my organic chicken at Whole Foods again. Where's that Big Mac? All right. So the servants is usually where they're more concerned, because, well, I don't want to become an engineer. I don't have skills. I don't. It's better called the I don't people. Well, fine. Then you're going to go serve. Now, here's the problem. Some servant-esque jobs can be done by a computer. A kiosk can take care of your orders at McDonald's. A car wash can wash you out. You can't do the interior. You're still going to need people to rub the interior. So there are going to be some servant type of jobs there. But the larger point is that these jobs are not so much that they can be taken away by a computer or artificial intelligence. That can happen. But the engineers and the artists, more so the engineers, some artists too if they make enough money, they're going to want a human touch. That's what they're going to want. Because we are humans. And it's not happening yet, but it's coming to the point in time where I think people are going to pay a premium to have a human serve them and not a robot. Like if I go to a fine dining establishment, I don't want to order from a kiosk. I would like a waiter, waitress come up to me, this and that. If I go to a high-end bar, I'd like to talk to the bartender. I'm not doing this self-pour stuff. There again, self-pour. You see that? That's not your bar. That's not your neighborhood bar. That's not your local VFW. Right? You lose this human touch. So I think there's going to be this demand for a human touch. It's going to keep the servant group of employees relatively employed. But gone are it's going to be a little higher end. You're going to have to serve people, but gone are the days of the kind of the skullduggery work where it's like, no, I don't really need to order from somebody at McDonald's. I'd just as soon take a kiosk. Now, the other aspect of the servant class, and I know you guys aren't going to like this because we just like to put our fingers in our hands going, yeah, when it comes to humanity. Do not discount the power of sex. Men want sex. Women kind of want sex too, but men want sex more. You darn right this is going to put a huge demand for prostitution. So it can take in forms of different ways. For example, the artist, once again, you can be a webcam whore girl, okay? You don't even have to be physically there. It's kind of where the Venn diagrams with the servants and the artists. Men are going to want, some women too, they're going to want a cute, this happens already. It's already happening, it's just got to point it out. The cigar lounge I go to, one of my favorite cigar lounges, there ain't no ugly girls working there. These are all 9s or better, some 10s, Model S girls, and they are trained to, not, I wouldn't say dote, but to pay very close attention to what the men want in the cigar lounge. Which, sorry ladies, I know it's sexist, most of the people in there are men. Right? Could I go grab my own cigar, scan it out, slide my card, pour my own scotch? Yes, I probably could, but you know what? Those girls have lifelong employment because people, men predominantly, want to see the women. The Thunder from Down Under or the Chippendales, those guys have lifelong employment because girls don't want to watch a digital screen. So there will be this sex, prostitution / actual physical touch. You're going to want people to physically be there. So I think down the road, you're going to see a lot of young ladies. What's the website? Sugar daddies or seeking arrangement. That's it, where the girls go get your... Again, it's already happening. But I think it'll be even more pronounced. Where it's like, guys going to say, look, I'm an engineer or I'm a successful artist. I make a ton of money. Here's this servant girl. She majored in something stupid, doesn't want to work hard, she doesn't have any skills, but she's good looking. I'm going to pay her. So I think prostitution at some level or another will become much more acceptable down the road. But then within this servant class, there's also going to be your artisans, artisans within the servant. Like, we've all had that great bartender, he knows his stuff. You've all had that great waiter, he knows his stuff. You know that great waitress, she knows her stuff. You know that... pool cleaning would be a bad. There's in the realm of Vegas, you have to have pools cleaned, and this guy does an amazing job. So there's going to be experts and artisans within the servant classes, and you're going to pay a pretty penny so that you can make some good money. But it's going to be how good you are. Otherwise, you're just slinging coffee because people want a human to sling it to them, and not a robot. And that's what people are going to pay for. And that's where it's, it may suck. You may not be using your doctorate in puppetry studies, but you should be really thankful and happy that making your $5 an hour affords you food, clothing, shelter, health, and rent because the robots are building everything. Oh, and by the way, you have internet access and a phone device that allows you to communicate to anybody in the world. You'll be upset the artists are making more. You'll be upset the engineers are making more. But you should be pretty fucking happy that you basically have a basic guaranteed income and you're not really working all that hard. The robots are doing everything. It'd be more of an issue of prestige. And so I predict a lot of the servants are going to have all the education in the world. We're going to keep pounding, push people to educate. Okay, get educated. Everyone's going to have their doctorates, but they're all going to be, servant class, or 80% of them. Then the remaining 10% or 5%, I don't know how it's going to split, are going to be the engineers. Now, I don't mean mechanical, electrical, aerospace engineers. Oh, certainly that stuff. But these are the people that keep the robots going. Great quote from The Simpsons is, they're graduating, I think, from junior ROTC. It says, "We know the future will not be fought with humans, but robots. Robots are designed to kill and kill other robots. And your job is clear, to build and maintain those robots." And that's the engineering class. Right? Now, there are some highly specialized people also in the engineering class. Not necessarily that keep the economy or the infrastructure of the robots up and going, but you simply are not going to be able to replace them with a robot. Surgeons, doctors, psychologists, people where there's a human element still. I don't think the finance industry is going. I don't think the finance industry can be roboticized because all the financial markets are human interaction culminating into one data point, and that is the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or whatever the Dow Jones is at that particular moment in time. So I don't think you can certainly have trading programs. You can, that's what robo-advisors are effectively. And I love robo-advisors. But when it comes to making more money, becoming a Warren Buffett, you can't have a robot. The robot does not have sentience. It doesn't have the human capacity. It's only capable of what it's programmed to do. You could say, "Oh, develop it." It will not develop a different strategy. It will not. It just can't. It can come up with something, and it won't be based, and it won't have any logic to it. It'll be all algorithm based on it. It's not going to see a bubble coming. Well, if I programmed it, it would, but I would not worry about the financial markets. That you're still going to, if you want to beat the index, you're still going to have to hire a human being. But anyway, so the engineer class, these are the ones who, again, it's happening. Your computer networkers, your computer programmers, your engineers, the guys that build and maintain the robots, the people who program the artificial intelligence, your computer science majors. These things will not exist without these guys. And guess what happens? I don't care if it's the greatest robot ever and it can bang out more welding than any UAW auto worker can. That robot is going to break down. It is going to be needed to be reprogrammed. They are going to change the cars. And inevitably it will be needed to be replaced with newer, more efficient robots. Well, guess what? Guess who designs that? Not more robots. Because if you think about it, here's where the art comes in. Here's where, remember, don't forget, we're human. People would like a different looking car in 2027 than what they did in 2025 or 2024. Now you need what? A human, an artist to come in and create a new looking car. Then you need an engineer to program the artificial intelligence unit to go ahead and mold this car or whatever like that and build it and weld here and put the bolts on there and put the tires on there. Now these people are going to have, like, again, it's already happening. They're going to have to work harder, smarter, better, and faster than the other guy. They're going to have to go into the hard sciences and STEM. But for that, because they're the ones that's basically keeping society fucking alive, they're going to be paid a lot more. Unless we have socialism and communism take over, which, now let's think about it. Everything is effectively approaching zero in terms of cost. Now this is going to be way off in the distance. And the only thing people are going to be able to bitch and whine about is how much money everybody else makes. Even though you could effectively afford everything, those rat bastard engineers have a brand new Lamborghini while you only got your standard Corvette. If you look at how much society has advanced and what we get jealous over people of, like for example my I'm up to the 2000s now, my 2003 Chevy Silverado, used, 120,000 miles on it. What does my truck do, or I'm sorry, what does a Ferrari do that my truck can't? Okay, it could go faster, it could corner better, can't haul shit, it can haul pizzas. I did rent a Ferrari once in Vegas, and it has a frunk. There's no engine up front. That's your trunk, but you put the pizzas in there. Used a Ferrari to deliver pizzas one time. Honest to God truth. Yeah, it's a little bit cooler and it's maybe funner to drive. Maybe I'll get some chicks. But in the grand scheme of things, my 2003 Chevy Silverado can pretty much do everything a Ferrari does. There's like 3% of things that it can't. And what do people get all upset about? You got a perfectly good Buick, you got a perfectly good Ford, you get all jealous of the fucking dipshit middle-aged white dude who's leasing, and you don't know he's leasing, you think he actually owns it, but he doesn't because he's a dumb fuck. You get all jealous because he has a 2017 Mercedes compressor. Well, so what? What does the compressor do that your car don't? In other words, humans are just shockingly petty as to what they get jealous over. And so that's where I fear what's going to end up happening. Two things. The artist and servant class, like regular humans, are going to get jealous of the engineering class. Even though the engineers worked harder, build everything, maintain everything, you're going to get jealous of them. Because they have a slightly nicer sex bot than you do. They have a slightly better hover car than you do. They teleport a little bit faster in the teleportation machine than you do. Forget that 500 years ago everyone was dying of plague. No, you're gonna focus on this petty little Same thing with Spirit Airlines. I don't get this. I love Spirit Airlines. Everyone's like, oh my god, Spirit Airlines sucks. How could you like Spirit? I'm like, dude, it gets us. How is it any different than Delta? Gets me from here to there. Oh, but they don't serve drinks. What do you need drinks for? We're flying at 600 miles an hour. In 3 hours, I'll be there. What do you possibly? How can you get upset about this? But you humans will. You will. And not only when you get upset about it, you're going to kill the engineers. You're going to demand they enslave, and you're going to make everything equal. Everyone will have the equal amount of money. Well, then the engineers say, well, fuck it. If I could be an artist or a servant and play pickup sticks and jerk off my dick, why should I go study calculus and programming and artificial intelligence? And then what you have is idiocracy, where everyone's just a freaking moron. and what robots are still on automatic pilot, if it is there, but trust you me, they will collapse and die, you're going to have Venezuela is basically what's going to boil down to. You're gonna be jealous. And the other thing is, the artists and the servants, I believe, are going to outbreed the capacity of the engineers' ability to create robots and artificial intelligence to produce the stuff and the goods that is necessary to support society. I've seen this before, and I see it again. People breed up to their limits. That's typically what you'll do. Not always typically. Smart people say, "Whoa, I like the concept of income per capita and there being one capita and all the income is mine." But idiots, they get 200,000. I've seen it. They'll breed. You guys will breed. And so the servants and the artists, especially the dumb ones, you're going to breed. And you're going to breed because everything's free. Nothing. Oh, it's just a guy. And we see it. We see it. Poor people on government assistance breed more than the smart people who actually support themselves and aren't parasitic. We see it happening today. It's just going to happen a lot more. All of a sudden, everything's really cheap. We can afford everything. Spit out as many kids as you do, and you're going to create a strain of an overpopulation of parasitic people who don't want to become assistant servants or engineers. And the engineers, and not to mention the natural limits of the economy, however many robots can be produced or amassed, is simply not going to be able to produce all that is necessary to keep everyone alive. And then collapsing chaos. Now, that'll be a couple hundred years from now, but that's where I predict this is going. So in the medium term, if you're worried about artificial intelligence taking over, well, then why don't you go and aim to become an engineer or a really good artist? Or just be happy being a servant. I got a car. I got heat. Do you hear that? That's my heater. They didn't have heaters 200 years ago. You had fire. That was it. Chevy Silverado. Food's clean. I don't need to eat at Whole Foods every day. Hey, I'm happy with the Big Mac. Life is so easy. And it will be easier, this barring war and socialism, it will be so easier down the road. The issue is to not get jealous of people that have that much more than you in the grand scheme of human evolution and human history. And if you could get that, everybody, servants, artists, or engineers, would be perfectly happy. But I know humans, and this is why I'm a misanthrope, and most of you guys are fucking assholes. You're petty, inferior, disgusting pieces of shit. And you will kill other people because they have a slightly nicer car than you, or they have a slightly nicer teleportation machine, or they get to eat slightly nicer food than you. All right, that's it. You guys got questions, captions, and answers, SOconsulting.com. My economics books, Bachelor Pad Economics, Worthless, Curse of the High IQ, all good books germane to this topic of conversation. Since I'm completely unemployable, although I am an artiste in the three worlds of employment post-AI, you can donate to my Patreon account because I'll take free money. Patreon.com/Aaron Clary. And just so you know, it does piss off all the right people when a guy who doesn't need the money gets even more. And then my podcast, the Clary Podcast, you could tune into that at your leisure on SoundCloud.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.